The air thick with the smell of mud and decay carries a silence that is not peace. For this small clan of Homo erectus, silence is merely the breath a predator takes before it strikes. They huddle in the hollow of a limestone cliff overlooking the wide black river, their world bound by its merciless currents and the suffocating green walls of the jungle behind them. This is their prison, and their god is the water itself. Every dusk, as the sky bleeds from orange to purple, they watch the river. They are not watching for fish. They are watching for the ghost. It begins as a faint shimmer beneath the surface, a ripple of cold blue-green light in the deep channel. The children stop their games. The women clutch their infants tighter. The hunters grip their fire-hardened spears, knuckles white. The light grows, ascends, and then breaks the surface. They sail taller than 3 men and furls from the black water. It is a tapestry of skin stretched over bone, but it glows from within a lattice of ghostly patterns that pulse with an unnatural hypnotic rhythm. This is the Spinosaurus Pacius they call the river god. Its light is not a warning, it is a promise of death. 2 nights ago it took ORM, who had slipped at the water's edge while filling a gourd. He was not dragged under in a thrash of fury. The beast simply rose from the depths beside him, its long crocodile-like snout opened, and he was gone. There was only the silent glowing sail moving back toward the middle of the river, the bioluminescence of its patterns shifting softly as it submerged. The clan understands that they are not prey in a hunt. They are offerings taken at the god's leisure. Tonight, huddled around a meager fire, a young man named Tab stares not at the river, but at a shard of black stone in his hand. It is obsidian, their most precious resource, chipped from a cooled lava flow, a dangerous today journey into the jungle. He is learning to nap, to strike the core, just so creating an edge sharp enough to butcher the small armored creatures they can sometimes trap. The firelight catches the stone's glassy surface. He idly tilts it, watching the captured flame dance across the cave wall. The reflection is a small bright spear of orange. It flickers past the cave mouth, a momentary streak across the oppressive dark. And out on the water the ghost changes. The slow pulsing blue-green of the sail suddenly shifts. A jagged line of intense white light flashes down its center, a stark reply to TAV's accidental signal. The clan gasps as one. Tav freezes, his heart a frantic drum against his ribs. The river god, a quarter-mile distant, is perfectly still, its sail a beacon of inquiry, trembling not with intent but with pure animal terror. Tav moves the shard again. The reflected firelight sweeps across the water. Instantly the white line on the sail fragments into a dozen smaller points of light, mimicking a constellation. The god of the river is not just hunting. It is watching. And now, for the first time in their long and brutal hominid history, it seems to be listening. The revelation does not bring comfort. It brings a new, more profound terror. A predictable monster can be avoided. A thinking monster is a nightmare without walls. For 2 days the clan of Homo erectus is paralyzed. The hunters refuse to approach the river, and the foragers strip the jungle's edge bare, their eyes constantly scanning the water. The shard of obsidian lies where Tav dropped it, an object of immense dread and fascination. It is Kel, the old woman whose face is a map of scars and droughts, who finally breaks the spell. She picks up the stone, her movements slow and deliberate. She has seen more seasons than anyone, has mourned more children lost to the beasts of this prehistoric world. She understands that fear is a current that pulls you under. The only way to survive is to swim. She gathers the clan's strongest nappers and its most patient grinders. Her command is simple, yet it shatters their understanding of the world. They will not make more spearheads or butchering blades. They will make mirrors. The idea is met with grunts of disbelief and fear. To waste precious obsidian on non-tools is madness. To intentionally draw the eye of the river god is suicide. But Kayla's authority is absolute, forged in a lifetime of correct, brutal choices. She holds up the shard. It spoke back, she rasps, her voice like stones grinding together. Now we will learn its language. This moment is a silent, pivotal turn in the long, slow story of human evolution. It is a birth of an idea more powerful than any weapon. The work is a testament to their desperation. Using sandstone and river grit, they grind down the largest, fattest pieces of obsidian. It is an agonizingly slow process, a testament to their emerging primitive technology. Fingers are worn raw. The precious black stone, usually flaked with purpose and economy, is slowly, painstakingly polished. This is a community effort, a collective wager against extinction. The young grind, the old bring water in, the hunters stand guard their fear, a palpable energy at the mouth of the cave. They are crafting tools not for the hand but for the mind. They are shaping a thought into a physical object. The students of anthropology from a future they cannot conceive would see this as a monumental leap the moment abstract communication became a survival strategy. On the third night they are ready. 3 large black mirrors, each the size of a man's chest, lie by a newly built massive bonfire. Kale chooses Tavern to other young steady-handed hunters. She does not offer words of courage, there is no courage for this, only necessity. As dusk settles and the ghostly light of the Spinosaurus begins its slow ascent from the river's depths, the 3 chosen hunters take their positions at the water's edge 100 paces from the safety of the cliffs. The fire roars behind them, a beacon of defiance. The rest of the clan watches from the shadows, a silent congregation of ghosts. Tav's heart hammers against his ribs, a frantic rhythm against the deep slow pulse of the light on the creature's sail. Kale gives a sharp nod. Together the 3 hunters raise their mirrors, catching the blazing firelight and projecting 3 powerful and wavering beams onto the dark water before the glowing beast. It is a clear, deliberate statement. We see you. The river falls silent. The pulsing blue-green on the sail ceases. For a terrifying moment there is only darkness. Then the entire sail erupts in a blinding solid sheet of white light, a roar made visible followed by a slow deliberate pattern. A single bright pulse, then a long pause, then 2 quick pulses. It is not a threat. It is not a mimicry. The patterns of light from the Spinosaurus are a language of the deep, alien and unknowable. But Kale understands. The clan does not need to know grammar. They only need to know intent. She signals to the sharp downward chop of her hand. Answer with peace. Tav understands. He turns his mirror slightly so the reflected firelight becomes a soft, steady glow on the water's surface, not a challenging beam. He holds it there, his muscles screaming in protest. It is a gesture of pure submission, a baring of the throat in this new silent dialogue. For long minutes the river is a held breath. Then the brilliant white on the sail dissolves, returning to the slow, gentle pulse of blue-green. The god has accepted their answer. It begins its nightly patrol downriver, a moving constellation of ghostly light, leaving the clan's stretch of water in a profound, blessedly empty darkness. They have survived. More than that, they have communicated. The following nights become a cautious, terrifying apprenticeship in this new science of light. They learn the river god's patterns. A steady, slow pulse means it is hunting fish content in its domain. A series of rapid flashes from the sail's tip is a warning the clan quickly learns. It heralds the approach of a rival, a massive sarcos, such as that sometimes challenges its territory. A complete extinguishing of its light means it has submerged to ambush prey. Their new survival skills are no longer just about hiding, they are about reading the glowing tapestry of their predator. This fragile and spoken truce, a symbiotic relationship born of fire and glass, changes everything. The clan can now fish at the river's edge, timing their efforts to the god's passage. They can gather reeds and clay with a measure of confidence that was unimaginable just a week before. They have not tamed the beast, they have simply learned to read the weather of its presence. The covenant is tested when a new terror arrives. Not from the water but from the trees. A pack of lithe, feathered hunters, smaller cousins of the great raptors, descends on the valley, drawn by the scent of the clan's kills. They are intelligent, relentless, and hunt with a coordinated fury that their spears cannot repel. One evening they strike, pinning the clan against the cliff face, caught between the chattering sickle-clawed pack in the deep black river. As the pack closes, encircling with predatory patience, Gale looks to Tavern, gives a single desperate nod. It is a terrible gamble. Tav's young friend Ren, clutching the third mirror, sees the look. In an act of pure altruism, he breaks from the huddle. He sprints toward the water's edge, a deliberate sacrifice to draw the raptor's attention. As they shriek and turn to pursue him, he and Tav raise their mirrors, casting frantic, pulsing beams of firelight across the water, the signal for danger. For a moment nothing happens. Then the river erupts. The Spain as usual, ghostly grace, but in a cataclysm of foam and fury, its sail blazing with an incandescent aggressive red. It lets out a roar that is not a sound but a physical force, a deep guttural bellow that shakes the very stones of the cliff. The raptors, masters of their own domain, freeze. They are killers, but they are not fools. They know the presence of an apex predator that governs all life and death in this valley, the greatest of all the living dinosaurs. They break mountain back into the jungle shadows as quickly as they appeared. The river god holds its position for a long moment, a glowing crimson monarch, before its light softens and it sinks back into the depths. The clan is left in the ringing silence, trembling, alive and forever changed. They have not just survived. They have wielded the power of a god. These ancient humans have found their voice not in their throats, but in the heart of a flame reflected in stone. The echoes of that night ripple outward far beyond the confines of that single river valley, becoming a foundational memory in the bedrock of our species. The Chronicle of Paleontology gives us the bones and the scale of these titanic beasts, but the story of humanity is found in the spaces between those bones. It's found in the desperate gamble of Kale the Terran Insight, of Taman the selfless sprint of Wren. This was more than a truce with the monster. It was the moment a species destined to be fleeting prey discovered that the most powerful weapon in creation was not a claw or a tooth, but a thought made manifest. They held a mirror to the face of a god and saw not their own reflection but their own potential. They learned that overwhelming power could be studied, understood, and even influenced. This act, born of utter desperation, became the blueprint for everything that followed, for strategy, for diplomacy, for science, and for the audacious human belief that no power is too great to be challenged by the focused light of the mind. Is it not what we still do, standing on the shore of a cosmic ocean, reflecting our own small fires into the great silent dark and hoping that the ghosts that swim there are listening? This has been an alternate prehistory survival chronicle, where the story of humanity is written not in ink but in the ash of campfires and the shadows of giants. Far to the north, the mountains are beginning to whisper a new name, Tyrannosaurus rex,